Whoa, good evening, everybody. Hey, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
We are punch tired. Silly punch tired. You gotta come this way.
Is that what it is? Is that
silly punch
tired?
The mic's gotta come with you, baby. I know. And I gave her the good mic. I took the bad mic. Not that there's a bad mic here, but you know.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday evening, everyone. I hope you're having an awesome, blessed Sunday. We have some good news for you.
Yep.
We've got some good news. As a matter of fact, the stories this week, you kind of went, what?
Yeah, I did on a couple of them because he picks them and then I read through them beforehand and I was like, what? No.
Well,
really?
I finally found a treasure trove.
Yes.
I found a treasure trove.
Well, a subscriber sent a link to it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
A link to a treasure trove of the same type articles and stories, and even some of the stories that the one, the only, the ever awesome Paul Harvey, now deceased, had done on his radio show.
You could say the late, great Paul Harvey.
Yes, absolutely. Hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. And so it's hard to whittle it down because you have to listen to them. And then I have to have them transcribed so that we can read them to you.
Right.
So, with copyright stuff and all that.
Of course.
But there's three really interesting, I would say interesting stories
Very
today.
interesting stories tonight. Yeah.
Well, we've got a total of 8.
I was totally surprised when I read them.
Yeah. Well, we've got a total of 8, but 3 from that treasure trove. So you got to say hi to everybody. Everybody, you got to chime in the chat. If you're not aware, this is very interactive. We try to make this a lot of fun, and the more that you guys are interactive with each other, the better fun it is.
Yes.
So first things first. Everybody say hello.
Hello, everybody.
You type in hi, everybody. And if you feel comfortable enough to say what state or country you're from or state of mind you happen to be in right now, you could share that. And
what's the state of mind for a complete exhaustion? I see. Okay.
That's where I live right now.
Yes, that's where we've lived for the last week.
So say where you're at, where you're from, what state of mind, and then hit that thumbs up because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. Thumbs up.
What state of mind?
Yeah. So, okay, while we wait for a few folks to get in here, and you're thumbs upping, I guess.
Thumbs upping?
That's the truth.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
That is a thing.
It has been warm. It has been cold. It's been cold. It's been warm.
It's crazy weather here, honestly. It was, I think, almost 90 last week. Was it last week? Yes.
Yeah, it was toasty.
And tonight, it's supposed to be frost.
I'm concerned
of
about
like
our
33.
apple.
I am very concerned about our fruit trees. Yes. I don't know how we could cover them. How do you cover fruit trees?
Well, I asked a farmer who's been here forever, and I said, should we just put black plastic over them? He says, no, that doesn't work. The only thing that he thinks works is what they used to do in Florida. When we lived in Florida,
still do,
is when there are frost warnings in the orange groves, they run water. They sprinkler.
run sprinklers, and the strawberry fields too.
Yeah, but we can't afford to do that either.
No, I know. It's insane. I'm just, okay, God.
Huh.
You got this.
We're hoping to get apples, guys.
Yeah, we had that warm spell, so everything started to come back to life. The trees were, the leaves were coming back, and then the buds started happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed, eyes crossed, knees crossed, legs crossed, eyes crossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about ready. Okay, so other stuff. For those who have not heard yet, we do have a goat
A goat.
and Many sheeps.
Well, yes, we have currently on our property, we have 6 sheep, but 3 of those sheep are going to be rehomed shortly as soon as their home is affixed.
They're not ours.
They're not ours. Yeah.
Just 3.
Right. So we will have 3 sheepies and a goat. So
Yep.
they are awesome, I must say.
You really have attached to this goat.
I have attached myself to this goat and one particular sheep.
Oh, which one? You didn't tell me about the sheep.
Yes, the sheep, the little black and white one. She is absolutely adorable. She eats from our hands and lets us pet her. And I'm giddy.
Giddy.
Absolutely giddy. Love them.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gracious. Well, yeah, so in order to get this goat and the sheeps, we had to put up a fence, which means a lot of pounding of fence posts, T-posts in the ground. And oh my gosh.
His arms and his back.
Well, and then the day after that, we needed a running shed built. And let's just say that, getting old is
It's really hard.
well, I realized one of the things I realized this week is that I cannot, keep 250 pounds lifted above my head for more than 30 seconds anymore.
No.
And that was tough because what inevitably what happens, and he's not watching this, so I'm not trying to be nasty to Caleb because Caleb is learning, but I'm literally holding this and just like begging for mercy, but he's fumbling around to get screws and taking his time, and
he's trying to hurry and get it done, but when he hurries, he makes mistakes. And I get that. I do too.
I'm not after the boy, but
no.
let me just say it was really funny because I was saying things like, okay, now I really need you to hurry up, please. Please.
Please.
And quiet, dulcet tones.
Yes.
Like, Caleb, I really need you to focus.
Yeah.
And please hurry up because I'm running out of strength.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and I was on the ladder holding part of it, but you had probably the most of it. And oh, my goodness gracious. It was.
Yeah.
So,
it was pretty rough.
Monday, we did the fence. Tuesday, we got the goat and the sheep. Wednesday, we went and bought materials for the run-in shed. Thursday, we built it. Friday, I think we collapsed.
Friday? I don't even remember what we did Friday.
Nothing.
It's just been nonstop stuff.
Nothing. We just collapsed. We did a live stream. Remember, we were really tired.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then,
Saturday.
I had guitar lessons in there on top of stuff, and I had rehearsal in there
Yes, you did.
on top of stuff. So anyway,
Yeah, it was. Ugh.
eat your spinach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get my Popeye on, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, my goodness. It
What
was.
mistakes, tactical errors.
So far, spring is kicking our butt.
Mike DeFazio, he's quoting a Christmas story. Oh,
Yeah.
it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, other stuff going on. We've just been working on preparedness stuff. Like many of you, I'm sure you guys have been hearing the scuttlebutt around the internet.
Yeah.
Which we've been hearing a lot of scuttlebutt ourselves that there might be some kind of crazy activity happening within the next
Crazy.
8 weeks-ish, 7 weeks-ish. And so we've been just
Stocking up,
doubling down,
Yep.
pulling out generators, making sure everything runs, making sure that we have a way to, keep the well pump working if there was some kind of weird electrical issues.
Right.
Not saying anything.
You know what else was running today was the crock pot. That was going to.
Oh, my gracious. Let's just say when I did a test to make sure that everything was running in the house and safely and all that kind of stuff, I didn't realize how much stuff was on in the house when I turned the generator on. Let's just say that there was a ridiculous amount of power usage going on.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it was running everything.
Nothing flickered, nothing shut off. It was running really well.
I could not believe it.
I know. Yeah, the crock pot, the hot tub.
The hot tub was running with the heat on.
Right.
Lights and fridges and
yep. Yeah. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. It was insane.
Yeah. So that and we had our friends over, Ryan and his lovely bride and their kids.
Yeah, their kids are awesome.
Yeah. And they were he was instrumental in getting this done because he knew how to wire things, how do I say? Safely.
Properly,
where I would just be looking online going, I think that looks like the same kind of connector. What do you think?
Yeah, right. No, it's totally different. No, actually the meter was not spinning. We were running power on our generator.
No. He was saying that is a lot of power usage.
Oh, right. Got it.
So that said, Plan with Jen is here. I saw there's one of our friends, online friends, Plan with Jen. She had made a suggestion to me in email format that we, on our website, bigfamilyhomestead.com, we have put in there a forum for you guys to use to connect with other people who are like-minded, to bring up homesteading topics, to talk about things like canning or food preservation or power generation or whatever it is that you want to talk about. You can go and create topics. You can do all kinds of different things on that forum and interact with each other. Well, one of the things that she had suggested was if people felt comfortable to share what state they live in. Because maybe, you never know, you might end up meeting some families that are like-minded. And so we went ahead and put that...
we put that up on our
category?
website. That category, yeah.
Yeah, Mom
I hope
did that.
it's right. I looked, and it looked like it was right, but it looked like it was right. So,
and if you guys have other suggestions, you can email me, info.bigfamilyhomestead@gmail.com. So, yes, Mother.
Yes,
it is
Father.
time. It is time. No, you use the way. You just don't like it when I say it like that.
Mother.
It's what did you learn this week?
What did I learn this week?
But they need to interact. This is part of the thing.
You guys have to let us know.
What did you
learn this week? Yes, Old Glory Farm, the forum is all up and running.
It has been for a while.
It has been for a couple weeks, I think.
The only one I will say in terms of the forum, guys, to keep out bots and spam, you have to be approved by literally one of us.
Yeah.
So you may go there and apply, put your information in that we'll never use.
Yeah.
But then one of us has to literally go in and go, oh, okay, that doesn't look like a fake person. That's a real person. That's a real person.
Right.
So it may take a day or so to get in there.
You have to sign up and still waiting for approval.
I don't know when did you
I haven't checked
sign
it today.
up? I haven't checked today because we've been busy today.
We've been busy, yeah.
Have you been busy, mate?
I've been busy. Busier than a cat.
Whoa, that doesn't sound very busy to me.
I can't finish the rest of it.
Oh. Have you been busy? So what have you guys learned this week? So what did you learn, Miss Mom, little Miss Thang?
Mother.
Ugh. That's from
Nellie. And Nancy, they both did that. Anyway, I learned I missed having a goat to milk. I really did. I missed having a goat. And it's been 4 years since we've had goats. 4.5 years since we've had goats. Jeez, Jonathan. Stop calling me Jonathan.
He knows that we're live.
He knows we're live, and he does it every time.
Our son.
But I really did miss having a goat. You know, it's the way we had our goats and cows before in the house and the other house that we lived in here in Wisconsin, we had them together. We housed them together, and that was a nightmare. Because the goats are constantly climbing in the feeders and they're peeing and pooping in there, and it's ruining the feed. And so now we have them separated, and it's so much nicer. So much nicer.
It is. Hey, Friday, Gamoria, Tom, if you feel comfortable sending me your email to info@bigfamilyhomestead, info.bigfamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send that over to me, and I'll make sure that gets put up there, okay? What did I learn this week?
I'm not sure. What did you learn this week, honey?
I will tell you, honey. I learned that lumber is unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Lumber is way too much money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tell them.
So we built a run-in shed 2 years ago, almost to the day, actually, 2 years ago. And it cost approximately $150 to build this said run-in shed. All in, tin, screws, boards. And these we use 2x6s for this, okay? This past week, the exact same shed, minus the 2x6s, we used 2x4s because they were a lot cheaper.
Not pressure treated.
Not pressure treated either. The posts were pressure treated, but it cost close to $800, folks. The tin alone, okay, was $175. 4 sheets of 12-foot tin, $175.
And this is how much I love you.
They're your sheep, hon.
It's your goat.
75% yours. 25% mine. Oh, boy.
Let's get away from that screen now.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn anything more like that this week.
No. I don't want to learn anything more like that the rest of the summer.
I know. And I wish we had more repurposable things around here.
Yes.
But the problem is when we have something that's repurposable, it gets repurposed.
It gets repurposed, exactly. I mean, we reuse lots of things. Cattle panels, we use them for different things all the time. We're constantly doing something different with them. I mean, last year we used them for a pig pen. Then we enclosed the run-in shed so it could dry the first run-in shed. Now we're using it as a run-in, to enclose the goats and the goat and the sheep so that they don't get in with the cows. And the next, they're going to be repurposed over to the garden for, cucumbers. So we're using them a lot.
DK Leith learned this week that doodlebugs, a.k.a. antlions, have started a homestead in the sandy soil outside my kitchen window. Oh, let me tell you what, when we were kids, like 10 years old, 8 years old, we lived in Florida. Well, I did. And the antlions were everywhere. And if you don't know what an antlion is, think of that like the Sarlacc pit in Star Wars, like Return of the Jedi. There's a creature that lives down in this conically shaped sand thing.
They're nasty.
And when ants come into them, even if they get on the edge, they can feel the vibrations and they'll go whack and pull them under. We used to be so not nice, and we would find ants and drop them right on the edge and watch the show.
I never did that.
We'd be like, ha, ha, ha. You and your buddies will never bite me again. God, no.
Especially the red ants. Ooh, red ants and the fire ants in Florida
Fire
are
ants.
Nasty. Yeah.
That's funny. Barb says, I ate 2 popsicles and now I have $34 for lumber now. That's funny.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
That is really funny.
So, all right.
Diatomaceous earth mixed with powdered sugar will take care of the ants. Interesting.
No, I took care of them one at a time.
No, I know, but there's still millions more.
One at a
billions,
time.
I should say. Mom used to feed grits to ants. She would sprinkle grits around the ant hills, and they would go and eat them, and then they would explode.
Maybe we got a mean streak. I don't know.
We got it from Mom, apparently.
Little mean streak. I don't know.
Anyway.
So,
Jonathan, I will talk to you when we're done. Okay, honey? I love you.
does he keep calling?
He keeps texting. He's like, talk to me.
He knows what's going on.
He knows we're live. And he's like, talk to me. Okay.
It's time.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are ready for some good news because I am ready to hear some good news. I'm ready to speak some good news. Man, oh man, couldn't we use a little more good news?
We're ready to share some good news with you.
If you don't know where this came from, it's the radio great Paul Harvey. I miss stories that he would tell. And so we've gone on and found some more. Give me your phone because you're going to keep looking at it.
No, I just touched it. That's
You're
all.
going to keep looking at it?
No, I'm not.
You're going to be OCD?
No, I'm not.
OCD?
No.
But it actually should be spelled CDO, right?
I know, exactly.
Anybody know why?
If you're OCD.
It really should be CDO.
Right. Can anybody figure out why?
There you go.
All right.
So here we
I'm
go.
First.
You're
I'm
first.
odd this week.
You are odd. Bring on the good news.
Bring on the odd. No, the odd news. It's not odd.
News.
It's actually really. There's a lot of stuff here that's really cool. A team of scuba diving heroes have reunited a grateful woman with her lost antique ring after it flew off her finger and into a river. Emma Lyon was watching a regatta from the banks of the river Great Ouse last Saturday when the 100-year-old jewelry flew into the water.
100-year-old ring.
100-year-old ring. The gold wedding ring had belonged to her grandmother, and Emma was devastated when it quickly disappeared from sight. She contacted Bedford scuba divers the following day after a friend suggested they could help, and couldn't believe how quickly they responded to her plea. By Monday evening, a team of divers had found the ring and handed it back to Emma. She naturally took the whole crew out for a thankful drink at the local pub afterwards, saying, "The divers were absolutely amazing. My grandmother died in 2000 at the age of 100. She worked at a corn merchant on Caldwell Street and would sometimes get up early and take the family's punt out on the river before work." I'm guessing a boat.
Yes.
I did think that if we couldn't find the ring, it had ended up in a fitting resting place. I am just so grateful to everyone from the scuba club who gave up their evening to help out, and I can't believe they were able to find it. It was a complete miracle.
How cool is that?
Really cool. Really, really cool.
Whoever that happy guy is right there next to the happy lady, you, sir, whatever Culver's burger you want, come on over. We'll take care of you.
Extra cheese sauce for you, sir.
Extra cheese sauce. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Culver's does not endorse us or this program.
Not at all.
But secrets of Culver's. You can ask for extra crispy fries and they'll do it.
So yummy.
They'll do it. All right. So this is really touching and cool. So growing for years out of a special group of humans in Washington State, a new human language, Tactile ASL, has gained recognition. Born from the spirit of human connection, those who can neither see nor hear use another person's body as the canvas on which to communicate with a nearly infinite number of ideas, feelings, or just an old-fashioned chin wag. Verbally communicating humans use all kinds of additional sensory signals to aid the listener in understanding, such as making faces or hand gestures. But touching them, especially on the face, is reserved for only the closest human connections. It can be strange sometimes for those speaking in American Sign Language, ASL, to see the literalness of certain signs, where a speaker might say jolly to cleverly disguise their true intention of describing a man's waist size. ASL doesn't have that luxury and often have to sign a spade as a spade. But for those who can neither hear nor see, language becomes even more stripped of its societal layers, and in a new way becomes even more human. In a first-hand encounter with deaf-blind American, Catherine Ellen Foley, writing for Quartz, reported that a gentleman using Tactile ASL explained through an ASL interpreter. It's the same concept as learning any other language. It's just connecting with the group of people whose language you want to learn. The example Foley gives is I climb a tree, in which the signer literally takes your arm and does the sign for walking up the tree arm as if it is a tree. For lollipop, it's quite the same, only with a closed fist for the candy part. While that may be difficult to interpret, a deaf ASL interpreter explained that in all languages, context is key. There may be as many as 50,000 people in America who are blind and deaf, and the new language is catching on. A business called Tactile Communications is providing necessary training in linguistic and culturally appropriate setting in order to promote the autonomy of deaf-blind people. In 2016, their language, which arose spontaneously entirely among their own community, was showcased at the White House.
Wow.
Wow. You know, what's amazing to me, well, there's a lot amazing here.
Yeah.
Very cool. But that it cropped up out among themselves as a necessity.
Right. Right.
They wanted to communicate. I am a being, you are a being.
Right.
We got to figure out how to get it together and talk, sister.
That's right. That's right.
Here, I'll give you one. Let's go for a walk.
Okay.
Maybe, probably, huh?
Maybe.
I don't know. You? Oh, yeah, they didn't see that.
No.
So you gotta
have to
touch
do
you.
this.
Yeah.
Me for a walk. Yeah.
You. I don't know. You. I don't know. Pretty cool stuff.
Oh, goodness. That's really cool. Okay, this next story was one of those what stories. This is really cool. The President of the United States had been warned repeatedly that he was an easy target, that going to the theater made him ultimately accessible to the public and therefore to danger. But he and the First Lady loved the theater, any kind of theatrical production. They would not be dissuaded from attending. Not all objections to Lincoln's passion for the stage regarded his personal welfare. Many clergymen bemoaned the chief executive's moral support of the playhouse. It said it was inappropriate and misleading. Those officially responsible for the president's safety considered such evening gallivantings near impossible to supervise. But the nation's capital was a marvelous town for the stage. In its many fine theaters, one could find operas, minstrel shows, Shakespearean tragedies, ruckus comedies, all in the same evening. Either alone or in the company of a variety of companions, they attended the theater no fewer than 100 times in his first days in Washington. But there was one theater, Ford's Theater, that would play that. And this one play the Lincolns were particularly eager to see. And no, it was not wise, and yes, they'd go anyway. John Hay, the president's secretary and assistant, reported the production was rather tame. It was not the sort of knee-slapper that Lincoln liked best. Nevertheless, he would go to Ford's Theater with the president and Mary and Mrs. Hunter and Cameron and Nicola. And surely they would enjoy one another's company, if not what transpired on stage. It was an especially dark night, plenty of shadows willing to engulf those not wishing to be seen, but the president was in fine spirits. He was smiling. He waved to fellow theater goers, and then he mounted the stairs with his guests to the banner draped president's box. And you know what happened there. You don't know what happened then. The night I'm telling you about is not to be Lincoln's last night. No, this night was November 9th, 1863, a little more than a week before the president made his illustrious address at Gettysburg, a year and 5 months before he suffered a fatal gunshot wound in the same theater box. This was a year and a half before that. But the significance of this particular autumn evening was most always obscured in Lincoln lore by many more significant events that occurred in that pivotal president's time must not be forgot that once upon a November night, the Lincolns went to Ford's Theater to see a play called The Marble Heart. And all of the while they sat there in the precise place of such great future relevance on the stage below the star. The drama was even then embroiled in a private drama of its own. Occasionally regarding the nation's chief executive out of the corner of one eye, pondering the plight of his beloved South amid unrelated lines of dialogue, wondering, perhaps even mentally setting the stage for the greatest drama of all. Well, you see, the star of the Marble Heart who entertained Abraham Lincoln that night, a year and a half before Lincoln was killed, the star that night was actor John Wilkes Booth. Now you know the rest of the story.
Whoa.
Right?
A year and a half
before.
John Wilkes Booth was an actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not only was he an actor, he was a clown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whoa.
Wrong show for Lincoln. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Lincoln, family connection with Robert Bates. Lincoln's wife is my great cousin or some such number of greats. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, I hope some of the greatness has worn off in you, Robert.
Right. Oh, my goodness. I read that the first time. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this one here is a little less intense than that one. Messy burritos could be a thing of the past thanks to a new edible food tape. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. Edible food tape.
Right.
Inspired by their own experiences with sloppy lunches, students at Baltimore's Johns Hopkins University have created Tasty Tape, an edible adhesive. It comprises of a food-grade fibrous scaffold and an organic adhesive that ensures the ingredients in your wrap are kept tucked tightly inside during cooking and consumption. The tape can be applied to any food, including tortillas, tacos, and gyros. First, we learned about the science around tape and different adhesives, and then we worked to find edible counterparts, said Tyler Gallarno, who teamed up with fellow engineering seniors Marie and Rachel Nye and Aaron Walsh on the project. The team of chemical and molecular engineering students at Whiting School of Engineering tested a multitude of ingredients and combinations before settling on a final recipe which is edible, safe, and has a tensile strength so you can trust to hold together that fat burrito. Because they are applying for the patent, team members declined to disclose what is in their secret formula. What I can say is that all the ingredients are safe to consume, are food grade, and are common food and dietary additives, Gallarno said. Tasty Tape allows you to put full faith in your tortilla and enjoy your meal mess-free. So, all right, well, here's... yeah, right. Okay, so here's the question I have. What would be the first food tape you guys would want to tape? What would be a good tape? Hey, you're outside of the box thinkers.
Kids' mouths.
It's food tape.
Yeah.
Could it be like tapeworm?
Well, that's what Tyler said. He's like, "Can you grow worms on this new food invention?" Tapeworms.
What would you want to tape? You could tape up like the turkey legs on, just wrap them up, woo, 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 instead of having to tie them with string.
I don't know.
Tape, delicious tape.
How about we could tape together, our prime rib before we cook it.
Let's tape it together.
Just tape it together.
You know that they're going to make flavored tape at some point.
Yeah. S'mores, that might work.
A dinner that sticks to your ribs. Come on, you guys got to top that.
Boom.
Where's Jess Ware? Tyler Woods has bested you. Tyler Woods has bested you. Okay.
A cracked egg. Oh my goodness, that's
you can
funny.
fix a cracked egg. Humpty Dumpty would love this.
Mm-hmm.
Humpty Dumpty would love this.
Yeah. What happens if you break the yolk? Can you do it then? Can you tape it back together? No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Oh my gracious. Okay, folks. Here it is, the shameless plug of the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Amio Life. You guys know that we have been loving these silver infused. Just there's so many products. I don't want to pick one.
Right.
But we know that silver combats molds, fungus. What were the other two ones? There was two good ones. Bacteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the ones he would mention.
He would mention those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Doug from Amio Life, good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Good guy. And they've given us a code so that if you are interested in grabbing any of that stuff, 25% off. Just go to Amio Life and tell them, hey, you know what? Big Fam 25.
Right.
And then they will give you 25% off your whole order, no strings attached.
Well, and if you have questions about the products, call them.
Yeah.
Because their customer service, they are fantastic. They love talking to folks. They love talking about the products. They are very willing to help. So help you to understand what's all about. It's awesome stuff.
Yep. So there it is. The shameless plug is over. Let's go back to the good news. All right. So let's see. It's going to be, well, I can grab it. This is interesting. Not necessarily a good news story, but interesting. And I thought, boy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Centuries ago, alchemists.
I'm reading this one. It's odd.
You're
remember?
reading it. You are odd.
I'm odd tonight.
Read away, baby.
I'm odd, and yeah.
Not my story.
Okay. Centuries ago, alchemists thought that they could turn lead into gold. Today, the prospect of coaxing valuable materials from abundant resources guides scientists who have seen a golden opportunity. So, the U.S. Department of Energy's Pacific Northwest National Laboratory is working with companies to test an approach that uses magnetic nanoparticles to capture critical materials such as lithium from various wastewater sources. Lithium is an essential ingredient in many electronic and energy technologies, including lightweight lithium-ion batteries that power everything from our phones to electric vehicles. The global market for lithium is huge, but precious little is produced in the United States. Where is it produced?
A lot of it's produced in Russia.
Exactly.
And the Ukraine.
That's right. Not only does the patent-pending technology being developed at the lab in Richland, Washington, provide an opportunity to produce lithium and other critical materials, it does the job much faster and at a lower cost. At the heart of the process are magnetic nanoparticles surrounded by an absorbent shell that latches onto the lithium and other metals found in the water. that is used in various industrial processes. That includes the water in geothermal power plants known as geothermal brines, or water pulled from the subsurface during oil or gas production. Lithium is present in much of water pumped during oil and gas extraction across the United States and Canada. PNNL is the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. Scientists estimate that if just 25% of the lithium in such water were collected today, it would equal the current annual worldwide production.
Whoa.
Whoa is right. Testing is ongoing, involving PNNL, Moselle Technologies, Canada, I always do that, Canada Natural Resources Limited, and ConocoPhillips. The team is stress testing the technology by subjecting it to extended cycle testing with the magnetic separator system, a needed step for full-scale industrial production. If this technology were deployed at geothermal plants, the value of recovered lithium could potentially increase the cost effectiveness of this form of clean, renewable energy, which uses water to capture the heat deep below the Earth's surface and then converts it to green energy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's really awesome.
Well, and if it's going to be useful for lithium, think about all the different applications they'll be able to use the general processes to do.
Right, right.
Could clean up a lot of things.
It would clean up a lot of wastewater.
Things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now we got to wait on this one till the very, very. Yeah. Okay. This blew my mind because I've heard different theories, folks. All right. I've heard different theories. Here we go. It was the day after the wedding. The happy couple had not yet emerged from the bridal chamber. The wedding celebration had gone long into the night, so the bride and groom were not really expected to be stirring until afternoon. I'm not sure what it was that aroused the suspicion of friends. I don't know why, but after a while, they grew concerned. They went to the door of the bridal chamber and began shouting the groom's name. No response. They shouted again and again. Silence. So the groom's comrades broke down the door, and once inside, they beheld a gruesome sight. The lovely young bride was kneeling at the bedside, weeping bitterly, and the groom lay on the bed, dead. That's right. The groom had died on his own wedding night. Murder? Well, let's take a look at the evidence. The bride was an exceptionally pretty German girl, not the groom's first wife. According to her, she had awakened to discover her husband dead. He had had a great deal to drink the night before. That was all she knew. Indeed, there were no marks on the groom's body, no wounds that may have led to his death, so obviously the grieving bride was telling the truth. Anyway, she had no motive to kill her husband. But if she did not kill him, what did? Then somebody remembered the nosebleeds. Somebody remembered that the groom had suffered from chronic epistaxis, repeated hemorrhaging of the nasal capillaries, and it only took a brief examination to reveal the rest of the story. The groom had fallen into a drunken stupor, then into a deep sleep. So he was flat on his back when his nosebleed began to bleed. Within minutes, he had suffocated. He had drowned in his own blood. Case closed. Now, I am aware that history offers some other versions of the incidents you've heard just relived. History even invents conceivable motives for the bride to have stabbed her groom at night. Those other versions, however, are based on rumors which arose later. As far as we know, the story that you've heard is the way that it truly was. It would be of no interest to us today more than 1,500 years later, except for the groom's impact on his own era. For he had many great enemies, you see. It was not at all unreasonable initially to suspect the young bride of murder. And yet, apparently, the groom's demise occurred just as you have heard. Too much booze and a reluctant nosebleed. It's odd. It's an odd end for a man once called the Scourge of God. For a man whose name struck terror throughout the entire Western world. For a man who had survived a lifetime of brutal battles to have been done in by his own honeymoon. Done in on his own honeymoon. The reputably indestructible Attila the Hun had partied himself to death.
Meg got it. Yeah, I know you guys were saying this is not good news.
Hey,
This was really interesting, about history, and
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't believe it either.
That's why I included it.
Right. I mean, yeah, this was not a good way for him to die, but he was a bad dude.
Yeah, I don't wish anybody dead.
No.
But that guy,
Right.
History has a way of inventing itself to make things bigger and louder and prouder for whoever's side won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Right.
The phrase history is written by the victor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't look very impressive for the Mongols.
No.
Or the Huns if they went around telling everybody that, yeah, he just had a nosebleed and he died because he had too much beer.
Right.
That doesn't make them look very
right. So it
very
was
intimidating.
it was a very interesting piece of history. So
they're not all the stories are not going to always be like
sunshine and lollipops.
Yeah, puppies getting rescued from caves, which does happen. Does happen, but they're not all like that. Sewer drains, that happens actually a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Ducks being rescued from sewer drains. We read one of those not too long ago.
Actually, there is one more story that it's not particularly uplifting, but I have a point that I want to make when we read this story, that hopefully that point will be uplifting. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point of the not this one. I'm going
to read this one. So, this is pretty neat actually. Meet the portable wind turbine for campers. That's cool. RVers, backpackers, wilderness researchers, or anyone who needs a bit of USB power in the great outdoors. Weighing just 3 pounds, or just under 1.5 kilos, Shine was launched via Kickstarter last year and on Indiegogo last week, and has already raised over $355,000 in the latest round of crowdfunding. To use Shine, you simply deploy a tripod and stick it into the ground with tensioning cables, and then mount the turbine on top, plugging your device into the underbelly where it can receive up to 40 watts. Because the turbine spins into the wind, it doesn't matter from which direction the breeze is coming.
Cool.
Power will always be produced. Shine is manufactured by Aria Technologies, based out of Nova Scotia, who paid meticulously close attention to materials and design to get the weight of the device down to as little as possible. If you've ever met a serious backpacker and got them talking about weight and space saving, you'll have heard all about why that matters. Necessitating a battery that takes up a third of the weight, and other components had to be seriously light, including turbine blades made from polycarbonate reinforced plastic, which fold out from the body, and an aluminum tripod. Aria decided to pivot from their original plans of making miniature turbines that could be built onto building facades, Interested campers and adventurers can pre-order at 40% off retail.
Whoa.
Buying one for $324 with an estimated shipping date of October 2022.
Crazy.
That is really crazy. Just 3 pounds.
That looks like a lot more than 3 pounds.
Yeah. Okay, so that turbine looks pretty big. While it may be light, it's still going to take up a lot of space in your backpack.
Yeah.
Would be my thought.
Yeah, and the cost is low. Yeah, I can imagine.
The cost is $324 at 40% off retail.
Well, you know what?
That's actually pretty inexpensive for a wind turbine.
If you were a hiker or backpacker, and that is like your thing,
right,
and it's a hobby that you're passionate about, or even maybe something that you do and you make money with, well, then that takes a lot of different way to look at that there, because if you're out for weeks and maybe you're a photographer, well, you got to have batteries,
right,
or you got to have a way to charge them again,
right, exactly. I mean, I think it's really a cool idea. If we were campers or backpackers or anything like that, we would probably want to have that, because you need to charge your batteries. Yeah.
All right, folks. So now this next one, you're going to have to hang in there, because this does not start. This is the first part of this is not a good story. I'll just tell you that right now.
No.
But it's what we do with it, and you'll see what I'm saying. Murphy was in the biggest trouble of his life. Possession of unlawful weapons, battery assault with a deadly weapon, attempted murder. The charges against him were stacked so high that he could hardly see over them. It had all started with a shouting match over the telephone. Murphy got so angry at his fellow, Dave Goffstein, that he hung up and stormed over to Goffstein's house. The argument resumed in Goffstein's front yard, and when he retreated to the backyard, Murphy followed him there. The accounts of what happened next vary, but whatever took place in Goffstein's at the Goffsteins left him pretty kicked in and beaten up and shot at. It was the gunfire that got everybody's attention. When the police arrested Murphy at his own home, they found an arsenal of mostly illegal weapons, and the whole thing went to trial. Now, I'm not trying to accuse old Murphy before you ladies and gentlemen of the jury elect to hang him. You ought to really know the rest of the story. When Murphy first came home from the army, he seemed to those who knew him pretty much the same as he'd always been. Nice, easygoing fellow. But the nervousness and the nausea and the nightmares started. Nightmares so terrible, he was afraid to go to sleep. Dreadful dreams of war. In his slumber, he would cry out the names of the ghosts of the men of his old company, and he would see them marching to their deaths all over again and again and again. To an increasing extent, the echoes of those awful times intruded on his waking hours. First, with vomiting spells in the morning, then headaches, and sometimes lasting more than a week or more. It was through the sleeping pills that drowned the bad dreams out at night and only flushed him out of the daylight. As soon as the flashbacks were freezing Murphy in his tracks, plunging him into a wide-eyed, motionless stupor. He would see divisions of a man's face in his gun sight or soldier's brains spilling out on the ground, and after a while, the slightest sound would cause Murphy to leap behind a sofa. Maybe now you're beginning to understand why Murphy was inclined to deep depression and unpredictable rages and driving 80 miles down side roads and gambling his life savings away, and particularly prone to violence. He carried firearms wherever he went. Amid flashbacks and panic attacks, it was open season on wall clocks and light switches and mirrors. And then one day, of course, he lit into Dave Goffstein. I think I think that Murphy was only trying to frighten Dave. Well, Murphy took aim in earnest, and he never missed. He would have never missed. Well, the jury deliberated for 4 hours and then agreed, and they let Murphy go. He was acquitted on all counts, not guilty, but less than a year later, he died in a plane crash at 46 years old. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not there. Let me go back here. Once upon a time, in our America the Beautiful, there was a young soldier named Audie Murphy. He returned from the front, the most decorated United States soldier in all of World War II. The celebrated baby-faced, single-handed exterminator of 241 enemy troops. For his heroism, a grateful nation was eager to throw what was left of the world at his feet. But of course, you know that Audie Murphy never really came home. And so, here's the thing.
Wow.
Here's the thing that I wanted to bring up about that. Is that we have a great deal to say thank you for to our servicemen and women.
Yeah.
We have an incredible weight of thank you and gratitude that we should be paying these folks. And one of the biggest things that I think that they're being neglected is the reality of PTSD.
Yeah.
This young man clearly was riddled with all manner of horrible
Anxiety.
thought, nightmares, dreams.
Yeah.
And we now have better tools to take care of our servicemen and women, especially those who've been in combat.
Right.
And I would suggest, I would ask, pray for those who have been in these situations. Let them know you care. Tell them you're grateful. Encourage them to seek help. Because you're right, Delaney B right there. Freedom isn't free.
No, it's not.
And I think the more grateful we are and the more demands we push on our politicians to take care of our veterans, we must demand the shenanigans stop. Politics stop when it comes to you take care of the veterans, period. They took care of you. And that said, that's where we're going to end our show tonight, guys. PTSD is real, and we should be grateful and thankful.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Let's be grateful and thankful by praying for these folks, lifting them up, helping them out, and demanding that politicians stop screwing around with stuff like this. It's not a toy.
No.
These men and women deserve better. So, well, it's come to that point.
Yep.
I have to calm down. I get really,
Yeah.
I get upset about the way that our vets are treated. So, anyway, I hope you guys did have a good time. And even when the stories are not uplifting, hopefully they encourage change. So, that said, we're going to pray. And if that's not your thing, see you back next week. But it's usually short and painless, and you should hang out. Right? Father God, thank you so much for each and every one of these people here tonight, Lord. I ask that you would lift them up and give them a big old hug, just like a daddy who's absolutely in love with his kids. Show them how much you do care. Show them that you've removed every obstacle between them and you having an eternal relationship. We love you, Jesus. Thank you so much. All righty, guys. You guys say goodbye now.
Have a blessed evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Forever, let me take refuge under the shelter of your wings. For you, oh God, have heard my vows. You have given me the heritage of those who fear your name. Prolong the life of the King. May his years endure to all generations. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. May he be enthroned forever before God. Appoint steadfast love and faithfulness to watch over him, so I will ever sing praises to your name as I perform my vows day after day. Prolong the life of the King. May his years endure to all generations. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. So will I ever sing praises to your name, as I perform my vows day after day. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower